Hello, everybody. Welcome to After Dark Conversations. I am your host, Super Marcey, and I definitely don't talk like this. The intro needs to be sultry, and I don't know why. But today I'm joined by my new good friends and fellow podcaster. He is Brandon from AteBit, and I don't know why you agreed to join me on this show, but welcome.
Hello, thanks for having. No, I can't do sultry on here, but no, thank you so much for having me. I enjoy a challenge and a bit of insanity, so I thought, you know what, let's get sultry and saucy and all things naughty. So here we
Yeah,
are.
exactly. Thank you so much. I feel like it's very difficult to get guests because this is a weird show. We do all sorts of weird things, and today's topic and discussion, I figured, you know what, since I was on your show to talk about food, let's continue talking about food over After Dark. But let's discuss, can food or is food sexy in any way? And we can look at that in different ways. It's
Mhm.
like, is the act of eating food sexy? Or do you add some food into the bedroom? Or is there something that is sexy about eating? Or is there certain foods that get you really in the mood? There are so many things you can talk about with, is food kind of sexy or is it disgusting? I mean, food isn't disgusting, but in a sexy way, I don't know.
I
That's what we're
I
here to
think
find out.
I think food in most ways is sexy. Obviously, we can take this conversation in a whole heap of directions, but I
Mm.
think not only eating in certain ways or eating certain meals can be sexy, like having a good meal and having that sort of euphoric just bliss flow through your body when you have that first bite of something that's just mind blowing. It can be, they don't have the term foodgasm for nothing, like
Mm.
when you have that magical bite of dish XYZ for the first time or the 100th time, it can feel very orgasmic. So I think just the general consumption of food can be sexy. Seeing maybe your loved one or someone you might think is attractive eating food in a sexy way, whether they're doing it knowingly or not, can be sexy. Like, I think food is great. Like, the people that don't get excited about food in general just weird me out. Like, food is magical and there's so many flavors and textures and spices and cuisines and world
Mm.
ideas all blended into this little plate that it can't not be sexy. Like, it's such a special time. And yeah, if we're looking at it just from that sort of eating lens specifically, before we sort of narrow and broaden that scope, yeah, I think food's sexy. You with me? You think the act or the art of eating food is sexy?
I think it can be. Like, I think it's very sexy at times of year. And if, I don't know, does everybody have cream eggs? I'm obsessed with cream eggs. If I'm sitting there like by myself eating just a packet of cream eggs, like to me, that's very sexy, even though it probably looks horrendous. But for me, that's a very sexy thing because I'm enjoying the cream egg. And then, there's chocolate everywhere and I can just like, yum, lick it
Mhm.
up. But like, if say, me or someone, whoever, we're eating, say, like a burger and it's falling, all the food's falling everywhere. To me, that's not quite sexy. It's more like, the taste of this is nice. But I think
Yeah.
that's as far as that goes. Because things it's sort of like, if you're eating, I guess the typical thing is, oh, let's eat a banana in a very seductive way. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like
It's
remember
probably
remember
semi-sexy,
being
right?
remember being in high school and those cyclone ice blocks were all the rage.
Oh, and yeah,
That was a sexy
that was a
looking
very
ice block.
sexy, like, yeah.
Yeah, subtle as a sledgehammer, those things. But like
Mm-hmm.
seeing my female classmates eating those at recess or at lunchtime, it was very awkward.
Mm.
It got very hot under the collar watching that. But I'm with you. Like,
Yeah.
if it's going everywhere and it's just a mess,
Mm.
I'm not going to be stimulated by that. But like, if I'm the one eating it and it's a good bite and it's like, oh my
Mm.
God, it's so delicious, or seeing that reaction from the person opposite me,
Mm.
I think it's sexy. But yeah, I don't want to be wearing it all over my face.
Yeah. I feel like
Um,
that's kind of the off-putting part is like, I don't want everything everywhere.
yeah, yeah. But then there's
Like,
also
yeah.
like, the whole mukbang situation where people all they do is eat food suggestively or otherwise, and people watch them do that and pay them money to do it because it's a fetish thing. So there's all types of food fanatics out there, and you could make a good crust, make a good living with those cream eggs potentially. I know with those cream eggs, like they come in a few different sizes, but I guess the normal one maybe
it's like
3 inches or something.
Yeah, just get in my mouth, right?
And you can sort of like bite the top off, and then you can sort of like tongue the inside out.
Lick it out.
Like that's a sexy chocolate consuming act right there.
I think next year I'm gonna have to set something up so people can just watch me eat all the cream eggs.
Yeah, you can set up a little mukbang stream where you are maybe you're tonguing the various types of Easter eggs. You can go through the entire Easter egg catalog and just tongue your way through them right up until
and you know why that sounds hot to me? Because I get to eat chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah. You can get those big Rocky Road eggs, tongue a bit of marshmallow, the crunchy eggs.
Getting hot under the collar with all this chocolate. Chocolate is...
But food's sexy. I think that just the general act of eating can be very sexy, but then obviously... food can be taken in other directions. Like I remember watching a movie called Varsity Blues back in the day, which was like like a high school football film, and one of the female leads in it makes herself a little whipped cream bikini and like to the quarterback, you're hungry, or I can't remember the line, but it was along those lines. And he's there licking off this whipped cream bikini. Like you can certainly sexualize food in a big, big way, and it just adds to the experience.
And then they did the other scene in Not Another Teen Movie where they included that it was actually a banana split.
Yes.
Which was at the back.
Mm-hmm.
And that also is, you can use long-ish foods for things if you don't have things at your availability.
That's it. There is a lot of phallic-shaped foods. Foods in, we're talking... zucchinis and cucumbers and bananas and eggplants and the whole kit and caboodle. But then, you think of food and sexiness, you can buy melons. Who doesn't like a good set of melons? Cans, peaches. Who doesn't love a good peach?
Grab a peach. You could eat a peach for hours, as Nicolas Cage says.
And I'd watch Nicolas Cage eat a peach for hours.
I mean, who wouldn't want to watch Nicolas Cage just eat an actual peach?
Well, I reckon there's probably some B-roll of him out there somewhere just munging on a peach, just having a good time.
There should be, if there isn't.
Yeah, the sort of the juices start to sort of flow down his hand there, and he's like licking them off the side of his hand.
If he did that, it would be good. But then, I think fruit is one that is so, if it's like really juicy and it goes everywhere, to me, I just get, it's all sticky and gross. Excuse me, coughing. On one of my other podcasts on the Super Network, unfortunately, some of the movies we watched for our Ozploitation podcast with the sexy movies, which I didn't think were very sexy, some of the sex and food things where they're just like eating the food, but it's so sloppy and it did not do it for me. But then another one, they're like at this table trying to say like how sexy food can be, but then there's a pig's head or something on the table. I'm like, that's not, no. This doesn't work.
No, definitely. Like sometimes I think less is more. Like I remember watching the fantastic Jurassic Park parody Chicken Park, and for some reason Morticia Addams and Thing is in this movie as well. I don't know why, but there's a scene where she turns, like one of the ladies turns this man's penis into like a hot dog and puts the hot dog bun on and the mustard, and I'm like, you know what, I could appreciate being in a scene like this. I love a good hot dog, and if I can add value to someone's life by providing that for them too, then I'm all for it. You got to try anything once, maybe twice.
Yeah, and I always say do a double for a hot dog. Put the 2 sausages on the 1 bun.
Oh, that's like
it's more meat.
Each to their own, but like, I don't know if I want to be sort of jousting. I don't want to be sharing this other person with someone else in that regard and being touching hot dogs in that way. But other people do.
I mean, I literally just want the hot dog with 2 sausages because I want to eat it.
You just want to.
And I think that's a sexy, like, that's a sexy meal right there. I mean, I'm getting my sexy with food just all over the place right now.
And that's the sign of a good meal, right?
I mean, look, I think beside the cream eggs, just being like just eating cream eggs, like I think like chocolate in general, I think can be very sexy. I don't know if you necessarily like, I don't know if I'd want to wear the chocolate on me and have it licked off because I'd be like, it's sticky and I'm a bit weird about that. But, you know, grab a whole tub of Nutella, grab a spoon and just feed me Nutella on a spoon and that'll be the sexiest thing I've ever had. And if you follow that up with putting a cream egg in my mouth, even better.
Jesus, that could be taken a whole host of ways.
It could be, and I'll leave that open to interpretation.
Exactly. Listeners,
but literally, everyone send me Nutella. I want Nutella
and cream eggs.
Yeah,
like I think the art of being fed things in a sexy way is definitely sexy. You know, even like you see the tropes over the years of people getting fed grapes and stuff like that. You know, scantily clad from like the Roman era and they're sprawled across their little podium and getting, you know, cooled with a palm frond. And then there's a sexy woman feeding grapes. Like I think food has always had this subtle connection to sexual desires and scenes and stuff like that. You know, I think they go together hand in hand.
It does. It really does. I think for me, some things just don't work. Like if it's really sticky and messy.
But see, that's interesting to me because you know a lot of sexual acts can end up being sticky.
They can.
Messy. So you don't think they can coexist where like food elements are adding to the stickiness and messiness? I think
it would depend on the food. Like maybe I can do with chocolate or like cream, like being on me or something. I think it would probably depend. Because if it's like fruit or something, I just feel like that I'd have ants all over me. It's just a weird feeling.
Like if someone was like dropping strawberries on you or something, you'd be out the door. You'd be like, I'm done. The mood is ruined. Look, berries.
I'll dip some strawberry in chocolate and feed it to someone else. That's fine. Just don't feed it to me. That's a
sexy combination, the old dip chocolate strawberries.
Well, don't they say that's like an aphrodisiac?
Yeah,
certain foods are aphrodisiacs.
I wonder how much of that is just like from the marketing of it being positioned that way. Like I think oysters and like I hate oysters, so I don't.
Oysters are disgusting. Like, the last thing I want to do is think about sex if there's an oyster.
Yeah, and same as like mussels, they sort of look like blown out genitalia anyway. So
no, thank you.
It's not a good time, but. Yeah, the only thing with the whole whipped cream thing, it's great in practice, but then there's just this dairy smell that's left on the body. Even if you do lick it all off and it's gone, you can still smell this like not off milk or off dairy, but you can still smell it long after that whipped cream.
I think just grab like the can of whipped cream and just put it straight in the mouth. Don't have to worry about going anywhere else.
Yeah.
I think maybe chocolate might be the safest one.
Would you have a go at like edible undies? Remember when that was a rage when they were like that sort of gummy undie and I guess you could just eat your way through them?
I don't know because I don't know. You'd have to be really clean.
Because it could get sticky. You talk about sticky. Some edible undies that are gummy get sticky.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you're going to do anything like sexual, you'd probably be ultra clean anyway.
Yeah.
Because, you don't want to smell or, whatever. I don't know. I think that just maybe not down there. Maybe if it's like an edible bra might be a little bit more.
Maybe you could get the set. You could get the bra and the panties.
Yeah, maybe just feed someone that just dangle the panties and be like, here you go, you can eat it.
Yeah, I probably an overshare, but I remember being a young fella and my mum took my Slipknot CD off me, their self-titled album, when I was young because there was too much swearing and my sister listened to it. I remember looking through the cupboard when she was at work one day and I found a nice set of edible undies there. So, my mum has partaken in the old edible undies, Tutti Frutti flavor, if I remember correctly.
Oh, no.
So go Mama Loz.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That must have been mortifying slightly.
Yeah, like I've gotten very numb to these types of things over the years. Like she loves an overshare. Like we're very close, which is great, but there is some limits that I think should not be crossed. Yeah. Yet she crosses them all the time. So thanks, Mum. Love you.
Yeah, my mum's very similar. I didn't find edible undies.
Maybe they're just for eating already.
Maybe. I mean, I think I was 13 or something, she was saying, like, I don't know, we're in the city or something. She's like, oh, yeah, I've been to that adult shop and that one. And I was like, okay, cool. I know where you shop. I really don't want to know.
Go mum, go mum.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like you
Just
think of
killing
like
yourself.
the flavored lubricants and the edible lubricants and stuff,
Oh, like
is
flavored
that
condoms and
yeah, like there is these synergies and
mm,
references to food throughout a lot of sexual acts. So it
yeah.
goes hand in hand, popping cherries if you wanted to, go to that
I
level.
was
Like
gonna say, I think like the whole cherry eating is like,
mhm,
so lots of people find that very sexy.
that's it. Adam and Eve and the forbidden fruit, going way back,
Mm.
way back, way back.
Eating
We're a
the
bit older than
apple, so
us.
naughty.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the consumption of food can be very naughty and suggestive, and it
Mm.
has its place in the bedroom. Some ingredients, some not so much.
Yeah,
Yeah, like there is a food fetish for everybody out there on the internet. You could search any type of
I'm
ingredient.
sure
There'll
there
be some
is.
porn tying that ingredient together, but
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and if you watch movies like, I'm trying to think of what I'm thinking of, Troll 2, there is a great scene of corn and then popcorn seduction
so
that
good.
should never be forgotten, and that is very sexy. So after I experience that, I think popcorn can be very sexy. It gets stuck on your teeth and everything, but
Yeah,
it's delicious
I love popcorn.
and it's fun to eat.
Yeah,
And then you
I'm a
can feed it and
sucker for
throw it in
good popcorn.
someone's mouth while you're eating. Like, it's perfect.
And you can mix the sweet and the salty as well, so you can get
Mm.
two worlds coming together. The old
Oh,
movie popcorn with M&Ms or Maltesers, you throw that in there at the same
mhm.
time, and happy days. Shout out though to Troll 2 being one of the worst movies of all time, and Troll 1, Julie Louis-Dreyfus in it. So yeah, go you good thing, Elaine Bennis.
And those two movies are not related whatsoever, which
They
makes it
really
even more
aren't.
incredible. And Troll 2 is one of the best of the worst ever.
Yeah, it is a
It's
dumpster
incredible.
fire, but
It's
you got to watch it at
incredible.
least once.
Yeah, you really do. And although most of the food in that was very unappealing, so I don't find that very sexy.
I'm
Just the
trying to think
popcorn
of
was
sexy
sexy.
food movies.
Mm.
Like I thought of Ghost, but I'm like, no, that's clay. Like I guess there's
Yeah, that
probably
was the
people out there
pottery.
that
I think
eat
it's
clay.
9.5 weeks was where they do
Oh yeah,
the blindfolded like food tasting at the fridge. But I don't know. I didn't think that was overly sexy. It was just very messy and weird.
yeah, but it can be sexy. You could have a good time.
Mm.
And old Demi Moore back in the day. Who
Mm.
who was in 9.5 weeks?
Was it Kim Basinger?
Oh yeah,
Was
she's a goddess.
Yeah, I mean she can
She
make
can
anything
feed me
sexy,
grapes any
but
day. Yeah.
I know I don't know, that movie was very bizarre. Just saying. I haven't seen it for a long time.
Yeah. Speaking of bizarre, I remember when Jerry Springer was a thing in the 90s, and there
No,
was a
yeah.
there was like a series of episodes that were all about food fetishes, and it was like that where
Mm.
relationships were on the skids because the husband wanted to, he only wanted to have sex with his partner when he was, eating fried chicken or whatever, or
Look,
he got
I
turned
can
on
get
by
down with that
fishes.
because fried chicken is amazing.
And you know what? There's breast and thighs and legs in fried chicken, so
Mm.
there's some connections there.
Big fan of the fried chicken.
But there were the episode, I remember it sort of culminated in this other couple end up having like sex on like a giant spread, like a giant kitchen table with all this food, and there
Mm.
was roasts and fish and veggies, and Jerry just let them get down on the table, and they had sex in front of the crowds on like the gravy and the mashed tatties and all the trimmings. It was a time.
That just sounds like too much washing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, just throw
Sounds
it
too
all out.
messy.
Throw it all away.
I distinctly remember where they had, it might have been like Thanksgiving or something on Jerry Springer, and they'd have like all the tables set up, and then like 10 minutes in, there'd be this massive food fight between everybody. And that was like the whole episode, and just be such a mess.
Yeah. I can't believe that he's doing like his own like Judge Judy equivalent thing these days. Have you seen that? He's hosting like a courtroom show.
I haven't actually seen it, but I'm pretty sure like Jerry Springer can do whatever he wants now.
Just about. Like he'd have more money than God, that man from that show. And I guess he's just doing that to kill his time.
I mean, dude, like Jerry Springer, why aren't you hosting a show? Just take a different dish and be like, is this sexy? Let's do all these things to experiment if this food is sexy.
Yeah. Can you have sex with this dish?
You could do that.
God.
I mean, American Pie taught us you can apparently fuck a pie. So
yeah.
make warm apple pie.
I can't believe it took us 20 odd minutes to get to that, because that is one of the biggest sexy food references out there
really
amongst
is.
our generation.
It really is. This is the biggest one. Getting caught fucking a pie.
I'd love to know how many penises were burnt in the following years after watching that.
Oh, how many dudes?
Yeah.
Or if you have a penis, would have tried to fuck a pie?
Yeah.
Like
I'd say a few.
They definitely would have, especially if you don't wait for it to cool down. Like that would have burnt.
So many burns, so many pie-related dick burns, I reckon, in the back end of the 90s.
But then if you're from Australia or I think England, would you be trying to fuck like a meat pie? Because our pies are very different. We're not traditionally like, apple pie or cherry pie. This is like meat pie or chicken pie.
Oh, get the old the chicken curry pie all over.
That'd be so hot.
I don't want to besmirch the good name of the meat pie. Like I guess I love cherry pie and stuff as well, but a meat pie or a sausage roll are like some of my favoriteest things to eat in the world. And I don't think I'd ever put my penis in any pie, but like I'd especially not put my penis in a nice chunky steak pie.
See, I don't think that would be very appealing.
No, all that hot gravy and maybe a bit of gristle all getting up in there.
I mean, you could like dip it in and then have someone be like, "Here, you can lick it off." But that just sounds kind of like. I mean, would you dip it in and then like you take it out and then you'd be like, "Okay, we'll put some sauce on there." I don't know how that's gonna work.
You do like the eating tradition where you lift the lid off the pie and just sort of swirl it around in there. It'd be so hot though, because usually those first bites on a meat pie, it's also a lava bomb. So it
burns the inside of your mouth.
Yeah. So I don't want a big chunky steak leaving a 3rd-degree burn on my member. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I think we've established in this discussion that food and some food-related things can be very sexy, but don't stick your dick in a hot meat pie.
Yeah, or a cold meat pie for that. Just any meat pies. Just
cold would it be? Ugh.
It'd be so thick and solid. I guess you have to work for it. Oh, I don't know. This is a slippery slope.
It is. I think. Yeah. If you're gonna dip it in something, at least maybe like get the melted like Nutella and dip it in there a little bit. Might be somewhat. Maybe.
Or do you get the old shepherd's pie or the tiger pie? So you get the mashy peas, or
you could put the mashed potato,
and the gravy. Maybe the mash would sort of offset the pain from the hot chunky. I don't know.
I mean, if you're from Adelaide, you could go grab a pie floater, which is putting a meat pie in a bowl of pea soup. It is delicious. It really is. But you could, include that, and you could dip like inside the pea soup, then into the meat pie, and then you could be like, here you go.
And it started to look like your penis was infected then. You get like the green mushy pea residue.
The green pea.
It's not fungus, I promise.
I don't have leprosy.
Yeah, no. I would not want that in and around my mouth, a green pea penis. Yeah, it'd be too many.
Be a troll 2 penis.
Yeah. Yeah, that too, but especially a green pea penis, like... Yeah, no, not for me. Maybe other people out there, maybe like sort of like zombie fanatics would be all about that, or like, what's the word? Like necrophiliacs would probably be a bit down for a green pea penis.
Maybe. I mean, I'll take the pie floater without the penis.
Yeah, and I'll just take pies in general. You can keep your penises to yourself. Just give me all the meat pies.
You can have all the meat pies. I'll have all the cream eggs.
Cream egg. It's just.
A cream egg pie, could you imagine?
It's just a very sexual name or term for a
cream egg,
for a treat. Like it sounds like a sex toy.
I mean, there are sex toys shaped like an egg.
Yeah,
they're called an egg.
Yeah.
So
maybe you found the next evolution.
A cream egg.
Yeah,
that vibrates.
It finishes you off, and then you finish the egg off. And
you could do that. That could work.
Except you'd only use it one time, so you'd need to sell them in like a packet of 12.
Yeah, and then you have to be like, oh, is it going to be too gooey afterwards? Like extra gooey?
Yeah.
Gooey on the outside and inside. Do I want to eat that, or do
Yeah.
I make someone else eat it? Like, it opens up too much, I think.
And you said you don't like sticky mess, so maybe that's not a good thing for you. But other chocolate fans out there that might be down for a bit of cream egg action, make it happen.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
100%. Well, I think on the cream eggs, that's probably wraps up our very odd discussion on the sexiness or sex appeal of food.
Yeah, considering we didn't sort of structure anything, we went 25-ish minutes or so strong on all things sweet, tasty, and sexy, and I think we've barely scratched the surface.
We might have to come back for part 2.
We've barely lifted the lid off this sexy pie.
I think there's more to discuss, but we may have to do that in a part 2 of the sexiness of food.
We forgot to even mention cream pies.
We did. That's
part 2 right there.
Part 2 is all about the cream pie.
God damn.
So stay tuned for that one.
Please do.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for joining me for this episode and discussion on the sexiness of food, or whatever I've called this episode. Yes, you will be back again for part 2, because we have to discuss the cream pies.
Yeah. We can't end this series on a climax, that's for sure. So we're going to come back and season 2 of Sexy Food Talk discussion, that's for sure. It's a must.
Absolutely. There's no innuendos there whatsoever.
None.
I can't wink even. So there we go. I'm doing so well. Yes. Well, before we wrap up and go, for anybody who's still here listening, where can they find you if they want to check out what you do? Yeah,
so you can find me on the social media platforms, pretty much every single one, at Brendan 8-Bit, and that's ATEBIT. So a bit of food-based wordplay there. And if you want to check out our podcast, you can just find it all on our website hub, which is ATEBIT.net. So that's 8bit.net, and find me at Brendan 8-Bit, and listen to our stuff and throw some feedback our way. Let us know about sexy food topics we need to cover on the Bitecast, which is our food-related podcast there on the 8-Bit Podcast Collective.
Yes, and maybe you'll talk about cream pies again, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I have cream 3 pies times this week already, so I need to find new material.
Yeah, too many cream pies. And yes, listeners, if you want to check out more After Dark content, you can check out the link tree at linktr.ee/afterdarknetwork. Blah. And I can be found personally on the Twitters at Super Marcey. So please check that out, and subscribe and check us out on whichever podcast platform you are checking us out on. Is very important to me, means a lot. And maybe I'll talk about cream eggs some more. That remains to be seen. But yes, thank you once again. And thank you, dear listeners or viewers, for tuning in. And remember, what happens after dark stays after dark. Bye-bye.